were given the first opportunity to grow cannabis in New York State this year. Over 200 family businesses are growing cannabis right now, and that is the cannabis that our recently licensed processors are going to be processing into product that's going to sit on the shelves of our hopeful retail dispensary licensees that will be licensed this fall and who will be receiving the support of the $200 million loan fund that Governor Hochul put into the budget this year to make sure that even though banks might not want to give you loans, that we provide access to capital for our small businesses and our new businesses in this state that are going to be selling cannabis, hopefully, before we ring in 2023. And as we've already heard today, the folks who qualify to become our first retail licensees are those who have been convicted of marijuana-related charges. Not only have they been convicted of marijuana-related charges, they're also people who, despite having faced those battles, have gone on to be part of the economic engine, the community of leaders in our communities, in our neighborhoods that have operated profitable businesses. And I know a lot of people were concerned. They were like, ooh, we're not going to find enough. Let me tell you, over 200 people started their applications on day one that we opened up those licenses. Those are our neighbors. Those are all of the people who got arrested when they were in school because they were walking to school, coming home from a party. Somebody pulled them over and they had a roach in their pocket or an eighth of an ounce. And then they went on to go on and lead strong, wonderful lives. They're the people who were picked up because they were selling to make a couple of extra dollars because they didn't have a regular job and then they moved on. All of these are the people who are currently submitting their applications for the card application. And we're very happy that in New York State, that's the way we're able to lead. Most of you in this room probably already know, we set up a scheme in New York that says we're gonna have 9 license types. Communities that were harmed by the disproportionate impact of prohibition are also the spaces where there were divestments. Those economic divestments in our communities have repercussions that are far-reaching. Housing values are diminished, therefore. It's partnered with over-policing. It's partnered with poverty. Usually those are the areas that have some of the most struggling schools. This is what we talk about when we're saying community building. When people who live in those communities, who faced all of the hardship, who have faced the terror of over-policing, those people are allowed access into these spaces and allowed to build a cannabis business that not only provides income for them, but jobs for other people, training opportunities, and because they exist, somebody else is going to open a business in their neighborhood too. So this is how we change blocks. This is how we change communities. This is how we build a scene. This is how we make the place that everybody wants to be because you opened up your doors and you created something that nobody else in this state could have created because it is specific, it's unique, and it is going to be uniquely yours. And I hope that cannabis will be a part of it. Now, everybody doesn't have to open a business. Some of you are in business already, and you do what you do great, and you are wonderful at it. But I ask and challenge you, how do you incorporate cannabis into that business? How do you grow the existing business so that cannabis becomes a part of your economic engine? We need everything in an industry. I need architects and contractors. I need CPAs. I need exterminators and cleaning people and the folks that sell garbage bags and napkins and straws and light bulbs. And I want you to be those people that make sure you have those contracts to provide services in the cannabis industry. Because again, this is an industry. We are all celebrating the opening of the retail license application. This is not a retail application opportunity. This is an industry opportunity. This is simply the first step. And that's what is at the core of all the work we're doing at the OCM. That's the Office of Cannabis Management. And if you have not tapped into us yet, I need you to pull out your phones, go to cannabis.ny.gov, and sign up for alerts. Because we are doing a lot of work. We're doing it quickly. We are trying to stand up this market. We have been trying to make it more accessible to people. We began with medical. I don't know if any of you have your medical cards, but now you can get flower at our medical dispensaries. We hope that it costs less than what you were offered before. We also allow all practitioners who are able to write prescriptions to write you a prescription if they deem that it's going to be beneficial to your health. We got to change the narrative about what cannabis is. We have to change the narrative about what we use it for and who uses it. We got to make sure that when someone hears that you've used cannabis, that they're not whispering to the side about it later on, but really that they understand that you've had a conscious conversation about your wellness, your good social well-being, that your community input, that you understand that this is industry, that this is something growing, that this is something that is normal, that this is something growing in New York State, and that we're all a part of it. And that's what we need, and that's what we're encouraging everybody to be a part of here in New York State. So as we do our work in the agency to help make sure we're standing up regulations that help you not only have a conversation with your doctors, but also transform the spaces that you occupy throughout this state. Your community needs you and your input, and cannabis is simply one of the tools that we're putting in place for you to transform space. I need you to create what that looks like. I need you all to be challenged beyond the idea of a store, beyond the idea of, oh, we have to smoke. There are so many ways in which we can utilize. There are so many ways we can consume. There's so many ways we can experience. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited every time I go into rooms and people tell me the thing that they're planning to do. I am excited when I walk around the corner from my house and somebody who's only dealing in CBD is having a menu of experiences for her clients. Everything from yogas and meditations and online conversations and how to grow and what to know about the plant. These are the things that we are excited about in New York State. And we believe that the regulatory structure that we're putting in place supports those opportunities for you. And we hope that you are checked in and being a part of the conversation with us, because what we need to know is if our regulations really do make sense for you to grow the business. Do they appear to be something that is going to help guide your growth or to create stumbling blocks? Are our proposed regulations on the right track? Every time we issue regulations, there's a 60-day window. And we need you to read them and to give us commentary and to let us know, hey, this works, this doesn't. This is going to be a problem down the road, or these are opportunities that you haven't considered and the regulations that you've proposed don't really accommodate for it, so you might need to make a change. This is the moment for the pivot. This is the moment for those people who are innovators to talk to us to make sure that there's space for your innovation, and to make sure that we are contemplating your growth. Because that is really what this moment is about for our state as a whole. We have a state legislature led by a governor who is willing to support us in this moment. So we need to be making the asks and the demands that we deem necessary while we have a captive audience ready and poised to assist us. Because as we already know, none of this happened overnight. And we ain't got another 10 years to have the same conversation on how we grow, how we set up an industry. We're trying to do this in the moment, and that's only going to happen with us. And that's the big us. And we all play our own role in it. We don't need everybody to do everything, but we need you to do what you do best. And that is run your businesses, hone the ideas, change the narrative in our communities, show up to events like this, and bring a friend. This is what it's about. We're right in the heart of Bedford-Stuyvesant. The noise we make here is being heard by 300 apartments across the street. It's being all of the folks that are shopping for their groceries today. It's everybody who was passing by because they thought that they just wanted to see what the noise was about. We are engaging them. We're helping to change the narrative. We're helping to say, cannabis is here in New York State, and this is what it looks like. It looks like us. It looks like all of us participating. And I never leave the stage without reminding people that there is room for all of us. Thank you, because that is key. A lot of people have gotten nervous because they heard that these initial conditional licenses were going out and they didn't fit these very specific parameters. That's okay. This is a conditional moment that was created by our legislature so that we could implement the one mandate of prioritization in the MRTA. There is only one group of people who we were mandated to prioritize, those who have been convicted of marijuana-related charges. And how do we do it? This city, this state, our governor led and said, we're going to put a $200 million loan fund in place, and we're going to set up the market quickly so that they can get in the door. Thereafter, we are mandated to open all of our license applications at the same time. So I just want y'all to know, don't open your eyes wide at me because that means y'all ain't read the law. I need y'all to know this. That's what it says. So we've got to do things so that when we open it up, we're not crashing our system. That we have thought strategically about the rollout so that we know how we get people in market. Because what I don't want is somebody buying a fleet of cars for a delivery system and we ain't got no product for them to deliver. Or that somebody's got a processing center and we don't have the proper resources going into that area, so they don't even have enough electricity to operate. We're thinking about these things, and we're going to roll it out in a way that makes sense, but there is room for all of us. We have 9 license types. I need you to think about where you fit in. And then I also need you to consider, do I fit into a space that does not require a license? Because you may. You might be information, you might be the services that we discussed earlier. But either way, this is for all of us. We are ready for you to transform the communities that you live in. We are ready for you to help us shape cannabis in New York State. And we are excited to be your partners to do this. So you keep telling us, and we'll try to implement in a way that makes sense so that we can be supportive and encouraging, because New York's cannabis industry is truly about equity, innovation, and growth. Join us there and be a part of it.